cleaning up the wheel covers so I put them away. Getting the spinners off. There's 3 little tiny 5/16 nuts. You don't want to break them, and you can, but if you break them, you got to throw out the spinner. You're never going to be able to get the broken piece out of here. But John Grady's got spinners. Anyway, this spinner, gee, super nice shape. And the wheel cover, you know, you look for any kind of dents along here and in the sides, you know, hammer marks on the edges. But just a real nice. And I don't know, but I think the GHJ wheel cover is my favorite. They really dress up a car. But have you ever had a wrestle trying to install one? Boy, I have, and I know people that have. You know, you generally tuck the first edge in by the valve stem, and then go over here and rubber mallet, you know, pound in this section, and then try to chase it around. And golly, you start pounding over here, and then this side pops off. And 20 minutes later, you're still chasing your tail. Well, here is the reason why. These grippers and these teeth end up with too much bite. So if you just gently coax these back in so they're not quite so aggressive, oh, you'll find these wheel covers are so much easier to install, and they're still got a lot of grip. They don't come off easy. But yeah, it's just relax the bite of these teeth. Now, we don't want you bending the teeth in. You know, don't be pressing this in. It's this finger, this tab here. Bend this section here in a little bit. Yeah, that'll still give you your teeth at the angle where they want to bite. But just, you know, here, bend this piece here in a little bit. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed. Truly, you'll be amazed. And the ashtray. Looks like somebody took it apart years ago and so this is the rear console ashtray, and they have already, that's a spare that I already blasted. This is the one that came out of the car, and that's what they generally look like. Just saying, well, how do you get at that little screw? It's just impossible to get at. Take a small screwdriver, you go through the slot, and you get on the screw that way. A whole bunch of ashtrays painted. This is with reflective aluminum, light coats. And pretty doggone good. This year, for some reason, I said, you know, I might as well just do a bunch of them. So, yeah, by the time you get set up, and so there's a whole bunch of inserts, a couple of more trays. Two, 5, 6. No, 2, 6, 5, 7, 2, 3, 4 is, that's what a new old stock ashtray insert would look like. And this is what they look like after I hit them with the aluminum blast. Pretty darn adequate. That one, by the way, that tab, that tab covers the hole for the cigar lighter. I have to look it up what year uses that. Yeah, it's a 63. Probably 64. Because 63, the ashtray goes in backwards. The slider is towards the back. All the other ones, the slider will be up here. But you can't do that because of the space. And they also take out your cigar lighter and they put that pad in there. So this ashtray came up nice, and we'll put one of those inserts in here and a cigar lighter, and that one will be done. And I have a whole bunch of these where, for one reason or another, somebody has broken or separated the bezel. So this bezel will have to go back on. You see the little protrusions? And they fit into there. So you can JB weld these back together. But when you go screw these in, there's a pretty good amount of tension that's holding this assembly down in the console. So you got to glue the bazoozies out of this, otherwise it'll pop right off. One of the other things you have to remember is you've got to have this slider inserted before you glue the top in, because this piece here, right there, you can't withdraw it once it's been assembled. And here's a front console ashtray completed with the JB welder on the sides. You may find that the JB weld ends up being too wide for the slot, and you know, when you do a test fit, it's going to be too wide. Well, you could machine down the JB weld, but this is also super easy to enlarge just that little bit, which is actually a better idea than cutting into the JB weld. You might weaken that. Anyway, so you could install the ashtray, except for one thing. The doggone lighter base is so long that it'll go, but only if you force it down here, which means you can be scratching. You see the scratches in there from somebody else? You are better off to take the lighter off and install it later. It's easy enough to do. Just reach up and under. whatever you float your boat. And so there you go. There's the lighter. Nice and flat all the way around. Fits good. You can continue dressing up the console. This is Gil's H tachometer. Although his tach cable is broken, he had a spare one, which is good enough to hook up, but probably not good enough to use. And one thing it doesn't do is settle back down. I put on this wick a couple of drops of speedometer cable lubricant. And things are working better. One of the things on my list to do with a high mileage car is to check the parking brake shoes. So this is the drum. It's a 1/1/16 nut. You're gonna need an impact to no, it's a 1/1/8. Shame. And a special serrated washer to catch against these so it won't be backing out. But with the drive shaft off, just that one bolt, buzz it off, and then this slips right off. And so you can check your drum for excessive wear, which is generally not the case. And then you can go also check your brake shoes. So, I'm delighted to see these shoes have got a lot of lining left on them. Pardon me. Used to be, you could buy these shoes. But I think they've got, well, you can't anymore, but you can send these shoes out to a relighter and have them done. But now there's the adjustment. And normally you would be getting at that from this back side here. There's a little plate right there that you take off and then you get to it, but you see what's in the way? You got the big transmission cross member. And so it's really just hard access-wise to get up in here. So while I have this off, I'll click it a couple more out, but put her back together. Glad I don't have anything more to do here. Moving on. There's your problem. You know, I just got poking around on that thing and it started to leak. It was like 15 minutes away from failing. Well, that's trouble. She was a fight getting out. Fortunately, it's the middle plug, so access is pretty good. But weren't no life left in this one. And there you go. New soft plug installed. It was not as bad as some of them. That orange, that's that high temperature sealant. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. Well, we'll let it sit. Tomorrow we'll put in some coolant. I'm sure it'll be fine. our new transmission mount that's going in. There's the one coming out. I would say that is one well-used transmission mount. And there's your new transmission mount installed. Boy, I'll tell you, the old one was so filthy, dirty. You know, every part of it. Tools got dirty. Everything got dirty. So, won't have to do that again. You notice, see the spring? So these transmissions are mounted on a spring at the back side. See, now there's a retaining bolt there, and there's a, oh, I don't know, half-inch gap between the retaining bolt and the base. There, you can kind of see. So, you know, when did Chrysler stop doing that? Maybe 65? Anyway, you got your throttle pedal on a solid linkage rod to the carburetor. You got your transmission on a boing, 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 boing spring. You go over something like railroad tracks. Don't be surprised if the gas pedal slaps you in the foot as everything's moving up and down. You know, that's normal. I remember George Cohn was telling me that. And what? And, yeah, 65, they went to that cable for the throttle. And of course, that gives you the isolation there. But whatever. Don't expect a Mercedes or Rolls-Royce ride. It's a Chrysler.